I'm delighted to tell you officially what you already know. This morning, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences announced that MIT's Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo, along with their colleague, Professor Michael Kramer of Harvard, have been awarded the 2019 Sverrir Ripskank Prize in Economic Sciences in memory of Alfred Nobel. As the Academy noted in bestowing the honor, this year's laureates have considerably improved our ability to fight global poverty. We're deeply proud of our newest Nobel laureates and the entire economics department. And on that note, please join me in welcoming Professors Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo.
Thank you. It feels a bit like I walked onto the set of a wrong movie. I guess the one thing I wanted to start by saying is that I mean, it's wonderful to get this prize, but it's particularly wonderful, I think, because it's a prize not, I think, for us, but also for the entire movement. I think that this is a movement that we happen to be at the beginning of, I think mostly luck, but it's grown to be a worldwide movement. There are about 400 professors who are in one form or the other associated with J. Powell's work, and they all do randomized controlled trials on issues that as diverse as, you know, U.S. schools in the Appalachia, to governance problems in Indonesia, and getting children immunized in India, getting children under bed nets in sub-Saharan Africa. So this is a movement that, in some ways, we are kind of the beneficiaries of. We get often. In the press, people say, J. Powell's research has showed, we take great pride in it. We had nothing to do with the research. We didn't raise any money for it. It just happened, and we got the credit for it. It's great. We're in a rentier economy at this point. But it's still, I think it's still going to be wonderful for the movement that this prize was given, because I think it's going to make it a little easier to penetrate the many doors that, you know, are half open to us or not quite open to us, and hopefully bring the message of policy based on evidence and hard thinking to many other places as well.
The world today is full of somewhat depressing news, especially in the international geopolitical stage. And in the middle of this depressing news, the one hopeful thing there is that the fate of the world's poor has really tremendously improved over the last 3 decades. People don't tend to realize that. People in the US usually are persuaded that poverty keeps increasing, for example. But the truth is that over the last 3 decades, the two groups that did relatively well in world's economy are the ultra-rich and the ultra-poor. Why are the ultra-poor doing better? Or in part because some economies are growing fast. In part also because, in particular India and China, but in part also because the policies that aim to help the poor cope with the issues that they face have improved. Infant mortality has been cut in half since 1990, maternal mortality by even more than that. And that has happened in countries that are not particularly wealthy, and even in countries that have not becoming richer. Even in the poorest countries, there have been progress on these important issues. Almost all of the children go to school, for example. if policies have improved, largely it's not because of us, to be honest. But I think that entire movement that Abhijit talked about has played a small role in it, in that it has, I think, raised the possibility and the hope that one could be a little bit more rigorous about what policies and what type of things can really help the poor.
So NW18 Bengali News asks, what is your opinion on the state of the economy in India? What's in store for the future? And they ask if you could answer in Bengali.
He has an opinion about it.
Yeah. That's a statement not about what will work in the future, but about what's going on now. That I'm entitled to have an opinion about, I feel. The economy is doing very badly, in my view. One of the numbers that just came out is the National Sample Survey, which comes out every 1.5 years or so, and it gives you the average consumption in urban and rural areas in India. And the fact that we see in that is that between 2014-15 and 2017-18, that number has slightly gone down. And that's the first time such a thing has happened in many, 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 many years. So that's a very glaring warning sign. There's enormous fight going on in India about which data is right, and the government has a particular view of all data that's inconvenient to it is wrong. But nonetheless, I think that this is something that I think even the government is increasingly recognizing that there is a problem. So the economy is slowing very, very fast. How fast, we don't know, because there's dispute about data, but I think fast.
He did ask if you could do some of it in Bengali. No?
Sure.
Okay.
এখন এর ব্যাপারে কি করা যাবে? What can we do about this? Okay, I'll say the whole thing in Bengali and then translate. এ ব্যাপারে কি করা যাবে? সত্যি কথা বলতে আমি জানি না, তবে যতটুকু বলতে পারি এখনকার মতো এই যে আমাদের মনিটারি পলিসি রেজিম যেটা আছে, যেখানে 4%-এর বেশি 3.5%-এর বেশি ডেফিসিট হবে না, এইসব নিয়ে মাথা ঘামিয়ে লাভ নেই। এক্ষুনি ইকোনমিতে খানিকটা আরও পয়সা আনতে হবে এবং গরিবের হাতে পয়সা দিতে হবে, বড় লোকের হাতে পয়সা দেওয়া নয়, গরিবের হাতে আরও বেশি টাকা আনতে হবে। সো I don't know exactly what to do. The government has a large deficit, but right now it's sort of at least aiming to please everybody by pretending to hold to some budgetary targets and monetary targets. And my view is that this is the economy going into a tailspin is the time when you don't worry so much about monetary stability and you worry a little bit more about demand. I think demand is a huge problem right now in the economy.